For 26 years, one man was the leader and symbol of hockey in Northern Michigan, the only coach the Wildcats had ever known. Until last spring, when that same man took a surprising step onto the Michigan State ice. Tonight, he returns to his former school, now the NMU, where a former student now stands in his mentor's place. It's the CCHA's newest rivalry. Next.
It just takes some time, little girl, in a little out the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright.
It is the most anticipated event of the season here in Marquette. The Berry Event Center is packed to the rafters for the home opener, but tonight is more than a game. It's a sentimental reunion that has some locals emotionally torn. An old friend brings the Spartans to Marquette to battle a Northern Michigan grad, and it's only here on Fox Sports Net. How are you, everybody? Alongside my partner, Fred Pletch, my name is Matt Shepard. Honored to be back with you for another season of CCHA hockey here on Fox Sports Net. This place is jumping. They have labeled it the mentor against the student, and rightfully so. The question is, Fred, how well did the teacher teach, and did the pupil learn anything?
Well, for starters, you could not get a better teacher than Rick Comley. 26 years here in Marquette. He built Northern Michigan into one of the most respected programs in the country. That included a 1991 national championship team. Along with the ride with him for 10 years, Walt Kyle. Walt was an assistant coach for that national championship squad. Later went on to coach 10 years in the pros with 5 different teams. And Walt Kyle, yes, he learned the lessons well. And he's also one of the first to bring and welcome Rick Comley back to Marquette.
Now, he has 17 returning letter winners from a year ago, but most of them up front. Really only one experienced guy in the blue line, right?
Yeah, he needs a big game from Jim Jackson, his 4th-year captain. Jim Jackson played hurt a lot last season, but amazingly enough, still finished at plus 23. One of the Spartans he'll have to contend with tonight is Jim Slater. And Slater, well, he is just a ferocious forechecker, and he is going to be in Jim Jackson's face all night long, this first-round NHL draft pick of Atlanta.
And he had 2 assists against Northern Michigan a year ago in the 3 games. Now, for a better feel of this much-anticipated matchup, here's Shireen Sass. Shireen?
Matt, the excitement here in Marquette hasn't been this intense since 1991 when the Wildcats won the NCAA title. It's a Super Bowl atmosphere all around town all week long. For the showdown of student versus mentor, hundreds of these t-shirts have been sold since Labor Day. A ticket for this weekend, forget it, sold out for weeks. Matt?
Shireen will just take a couple of t-shirts. This town is 20,000 strong. It seems like everybody is here. The opening face-off and the starting lineups are next. The Spartans and Wildcats on Fox Sports Net. Right there in the slot.
We're just a click away when you visit Marquette General Health System on the web at mgh.org. Read our latest news. Look up a doctor. Size up our centers of excellence. Email a patient. Find a map. Watch an Insights movie. Or meet our newest arrivals. At mgh.org, Upper Michigan's Regional Medical Center is as close as your fingertips.
The death toll is unimaginable. Tobacco's claimed as many lives as war. Draw the line now. Spend the billions from the tobacco lawsuit on health care. Proposal 4 does. It teaches kids not to smoke, funds programs to help adults quit, and funds medical care because for some, it's already too late. It provides accountability, and it's backed by those we trust. Spend tobacco money on health care. Vote yes on Proposal 4. It's only right.
Hey, Tahoe. Brian Jordan. How's the show going?
It's going pretty well.
Look like you lost a couple pounds.
Yeah.
No, really, I almost didn't recognize you. Seriously? Hey, you want to come on the show sometime? Sounds good. Catch up with you later. All right.
This guy is one of the best conditioned athletes in the league.
Yeah, not like Tom's fat ass.
Many considered Reggie White football's most devastating lineman.
He just was so dominant, it wasn't even funny.
His conservative Christian opinions, however, brought him a different kind of fame.
Homosexuality is a decision, it's not a race.
And made him a lightning rod for controversy.
If you want to hear some preaching, you should go to church.
Reggie White, Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox.
CCHA Hockey on Fox Sports Net is proudly brought to you by Olympia Entertainment and by Corona. Relax and enjoy an ice-cold Corona Extra. The Barry Events Center is only 4 years old, yet packed to capacity here tonight in Marquette, Michigan for our first ever broadcast on Fox Sports Net at Northern Michigan. Tonight's starting goalies. First, for Michigan State University, Justin Tobey, the freshman from Northville, Michigan, the second youngest player in the CCHA, 0-1 after losing 5-0 to Denver, but was pretty impressive in that. Meanwhile, Craig Kowalski is a junior from Clinton Township, went 0-3 against the Spartans last year, but was responsible for 24 of Northern Michigan's 26 wins last year.
The referee for tonight's game, Steve Piotrowski. His assistant referees are Dan Brown and Paul Tunison.
Jimmy Slater and Chris Gobert take the opening draw, and the Spartans win it. Into the Wildcat zone, played by Jimmy Jackson. Now here's Gobert, gaining the center ice line and into the MSU zone. A little suck and drag behind the net, fed it out in front from the high slot, and a shot went just wide. That's the freshman, Yuha Allen. Here comes Brian Maloney, leading scorer from the Spartans returning. Kowalski fell behind his own net, and now a whistle and a little scrum taking place behind the Wildcats net.
Well, the coaches have great mutual respect for one another. But as with all players, no matter the friendships, it's no friends on the ice. And Rick Comley came back to Marquette this weekend, I think you'd have to say with very, very mixed emotions. There you see 598 wins. He's the 7th winningest coach all time and also 3rd active. Walt Kyle, this is his home debut, his first game coaching as a college head coach at Northern Michigan, and the first game in this building when Walt was an assistant under Walt Kyle. All the games were next door at the old Lakeview Arena, which still stands and had a great atmosphere, but this atmosphere is unbelievable here tonight too.
Credits Rick Comley for much of what he's accomplished in his professional life, and then said jokingly to us earlier today, if he wants to take, I've accomplished.
Well, with matching minors, it's 4-on-4, and on this Olympic-sized ice surface, that means there's a lot of room, man.
Lee Filardo in the corner for the Spartans, using that big frame. Floats it up the far wall, and held in by the captain, Brad Fast. Knocks it back in kitty corner. Filardo chased after it. Trying to get away from Allen. Jimmy Jackson threw his body around. Troy Ferguson fell, got right back up. Now along the end boards, chased down in the corner. Bryce Colbert played it up ahead. Colbert trying to get a hold of it and couldn't. Corey Potter came back, the freshman, to bother him just enough. Potter works his way up the far wall. Sent it sailing and out of the zone, and took a hit back in his own zone too. Dan Donnett played it back. Here's Milan. Into the zone, lost it for a moment. Ferguson, property of the Carolina Hurricane, brings it out. To the right side for Duncan Keith. Keith into the zone of Northern Michigan. Playing it to the high slot. Trying to get free. John Michael Lyles with a blast and a left toe save made by Craig Kowalski. Justin Kinnunen brings it out for Northern Michigan. Dan Donnett into the MSU zone. Sealed off by Lyles. Lyles, property of the Colorado Avalanche. Now Kinnunen played it to the point. Sent back down low behind Justin Tobey. Scooped up by Mike Lalonde. Milan, the sophomore, brings it out to center ice. Played it up ahead, gently in on Kowalski, who steers it to the wall. Played back in by Lalonde. Jimmy Jackson plays it with a backhand. Here's Bryce Coburn, the captain of the Wildcats, plays it up ahead to center ice. Alan Swanson missed Jackson on the far side. Now Keith will track it down. 14 seconds left to go in the coincidental minors. Lyles up ahead to center ice. Goldie couldn't catch up to it. Ash Goldie. Watch Northern Michigan play it back into the Spartan zone. 2 seconds before we're at full strength. 5 skaters aside. Now a blast from Lyles and a glove save made by Kowalski. Wildcats bring it out of their own zone. Allen fighting off a check from Jimmy Slater. Swung right back into the Wildcat zone. Trying to chase it down. Neil Gidney, the first one to touch it. They waved off the ice and Maloney took a hit in the corner. Fast waiting for it at the near point. They dig away at it in the corner. Brad Fast couldn't hold it in the zone. He'll chase it down into his portion of the ice. Swing across ice, and it was dumped heavily by Murphy. Pat Murphy, the freshman from Aurora, Ontario. He has it at the far side half board. Now got it back. Looking to set up somebody. It was tapped away at the far circle and played out of the zone. Terry Harrison is fresh for the Wildcats. Justin Tobey will settle it down. Fast had to flick it by the defender. And Filardo used the far wall to get it out of harm's way. Sent right back in. Brad Fast will catch up to it. Played up the near side. It was knocked down by Dirk Southern. Played it right in front. Now a winding and a fire. And a good save made by Justin Tobey. Held in at the high point. Micheludi with a shot. And trying to hit the partner on the back door. A little bit too far there. David Booth got sidetracked up the near wall. Picked up by Dirk Southern. Southern with a second drag. Nice move. Couldn't get the shot away with much muster on it. Joe Markison will flip it up ahead. Booth collides with Milan right in front of the Northern Michigan bench.
Well, if you're tracking scoring chances, a couple of them at least in the Wildcats' favor. Here comes Gobert looking for more.
Gobert's wrist shot was blocked by Lyles. Here's Ferguson up the far wing. Tapped it into the zone. Tim Herron hopped around Allen and then paid the price. Here come the Wildcats. It's a 2-on-2. Up the far side. Stutzel with a shot and a nice save made by Tobey, and he'll hold on. A little extracurricular taking place after the play as well.
Well, you almost get a sense that both teams know how much this weekend means to the players involved. And Rick Comley, who's the coach of Michigan State, calls that goalie the best in college hockey. Craig Kowalski, Rick Comley coached him for 3 years. Some great work in the playoffs last season. He was the 2000 USA Hockey Goalie of the Year.
They almost lost it. There is his goal!
Well, right off the face-off. A face-off win off the backboards right out in front. And as he was being knocked down, Alan Swanson still able to shovel it in.
Swanson's first goal of the season, and for the 4th game this year, Northern Michigan has drawn first blood. They lead it 1-0. A turnover as Goldie with a rooftop and a great glove save made by Kowalski. Fabulous effort there by the junior goalie.
Well, Ash Goldie was red hot in the playoffs for the Spartans last year. And what a test. That's a big-time save by Craig Kowalski. Point blank. Prime scoring area. That may have got past him and off the pipe in behind.
Now off the draw. Here come the Wildcats looking for more. Last year, Northern Michigan scored just 3 goals in this series. There's a near turnover, and Goldie came in to scoop it away. He'll bring it up ahead to Lalonde. He'll pitchfork it into the Wildcat zone, steady by Kowalski. He leaves it there for Jeff Waugh, freshman from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Brad Fast at center ice, and the Spartans dump it back in. They finish up the line change. Big hit in the corner. Anad Geish freshman and brother of Milan Geisch with the Michigan Wolverines. Wearing Adam Hall's old jersey, number 18, a delayed penalty. It's coming up against Northern Michigan. Maloney circles. Played it to the circle, and it's tapped there, and here comes our first penalty of the hockey game.
Well, Jeff Waugh, the big freshman defenseman, third-round NHL pick of the Dallas Stars, gets his man from behind, boarding or a check from behind, as Geisch was knocked down. So the Michigan State Spartans power play, which was ranked first in the CCHA last season, gets the first test here in conference play. And there you see the new faceoff rule in effect.
And it went 3 for 14 last year against Northern Michigan. Fast, played it to the high point. Now Ferguson at the half board. Troy Ferguson to Fast. What timing! Shot and a save made by Kowalski. Maloney was right there in front of the cage. Ferguson at the near side wall. Played it to the near point for Fast. Slides it across to Duncan Keith. Keith at the high point. Now to Fast in the high slot. Wrist shot. Score!
Well, nothing tricky about the Spartans power play. Get it to the point, create some traffic in front. And Craig Kowalski, I don't think he saw this. Brad Fast waits for traffic in front, the wrister, and he had two Spartans right in front of him. Thought perhaps that one of them with a high stick deflection, but referee Piotrowski was right there, and it was straight in off the stick of Brad Fast for a 1-1 tie.
And his first goal of the season. His rights owned by the Carolina Hurricane. Last year, second among MSU defensemen in points with 36. And he is now just 6 points shy of 75 for his MSU career. David Booth played it up ahead for Lee Filardo. He turned it over. Here comes Dirk Southern. Played it up to Terry Harrison, and a good poke check by John Michael Lyles. Dumped back in by the Wildcats. They'll go for the line change. Here come the Spartans. Markuson plays it up ahead. Heron couldn't control. Sent right back in by Juha Allen. J.M. Lyles up the near wall. David Bonk nearly tripped up. Joe Markuson will flip it up ahead. And the Spartans will go for the line change. A long way away. It is 100 feet wide. Here at the Barrie Events Center, Olympic size ice, which means those shifts need to be taken quicker, right?
That's an extra 3,000 square feet of ice compared to a conventional 200 by 85 rink.
Tim Heron in the corner. David Booth plays it back to Heron. Left it there for Troy Ferguson. Now Steve Clark. They dig away at it. And the Wildcats feed it up and out of the zone. It's picked up by the freshman Jared Nightingale. Troy Ferguson. And the Wildcats control. Matt Cinso sends it into the corner. Ash Goldie slides it along the end wall. Lyles stretched out to get it to Estrada. Kevin Estrada working his way into the zone. Played it to the right side. Lalonde couldn't control, and Estrada hacked back at it. Here come the Wildcats on the turnover. Ash Goldie turned it over. Gobert, and he had it stolen by Lyles. This Gobert excited about this matchup. Of course, the Marquette native. An honor, he says, to be named captain here of Northern Michigan.
There's one guy you don't want to turn it over to. It's Gobert.
Corey Potter drove it back into the zone.
Pure goal scorer.
Swanson, who has the lone goal for the Wildcats, lost it, but Kinnunen sent it back into the zone. Duncan Keith grabs hold of it there and plays it too far up the wing. Juha Allen. They dump it in. Dan Dennett gets on his toes, tries to get after it. Duncan Keith played it back for Joe Markuson. Markuson settles it down, wrists it up the near wall, and Maloney tapped it up ahead. Allen will chase it down. This is icing. 10:51 left to go in the first. Each team has drawn blood. The Wildcats draw first blood, but the Spartans answer with Brad Fast goal.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember, and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
It started with a simple idea: to protect Michigan's educators and school employees with affordable, high-quality insurance. The idea grew and grew, and now, over 50 years later, MEMIC is a leading insurer of Michigan's educational community. Exceptional, affordable coverage for autos, homes, and boats with unparalleled claim service. MEMIC, insurance for educators and school employees. Call 1-888-4MEMIC for a local agent near you.
Someday, when my life has passed me by, I'll lay around and wonder why you were always there for me.
There are seniors on that team that I coached as peewees, that are from Marquette, and the people up in the suites, the people in the stands, have known me for an awful long time. So, you have to go in and beat them. I mean, that's what our job is, and that's what we're attempting to do. And they're a rival in the league. They're one of the teams I picked to win the league, and we have to find a way to try to beat them. But to be able to separate completely the affiliation you have with that program would be impossible to do.
Rick Comley misses the people here. He told the Blue Line Club that earlier today at a luncheon. But his job is to beat this club here tonight. It's tied at 1. Slater sent it up into row 2.
And if you're wondering, he coached them as peewees. Well, his son, Rick Jr., is a senior at Michigan State, spent 3 years here at Northern, enrolled in school, and played hockey, was a goalie, and Rick coached his son coming up, so he played with many of the local players who are now members of the Wildcats.
Now, you can't separate yourself when you built this program, literally built the program here at Northern Michigan. Chris Gobert drops it back to the high slot. The shot by Allen, and I think Toby got a piece of that. Held in by Allen at the high point. Corey Potter chases it down in the corner. Mike Stutzel waits for it. Stutzel tries to outmaneuver fast. Centering pass. Coburn couldn't hold on to it. Stutzel came back in. Now it's stolen. Here come the Spartans. Maloney got by his man. 2-on-1 down deep. Maloney winds and fires, and a fabulous glove save made by Craig Kowalski.
Good chances at both ends, and Brian Maloney, the coaches have been telling him for 2 years, shoot the puck more. He's got a great shot, and he'll test Craig Kowalski here. And Kowalski with a glove save.
Maloney with 2 goals and 4 points against Northern Michigan last year, and it's just 5 goals shy of 50. Nightingale with a wrister from the near point, never got through. David Booth couldn't get all of it, and then Peter Micheludi played it up the near wall. Nightingale at center ice. Paired with Duncan Keith on the blue line. Chad Hunton lost it to Terry Harrison. Turned it over. Milam dumps it back into the corner. Nightingale the first one to it. Hunton waiting for it. Bothered from behind. It's Kevin Gardner. He was dumped in the corner. No call. Micheludi from the near point. Now Micheludi walks in, fires a shot. Toby got a piece of that, knocked it away with the pillows. Here they come. Spartans with a 2-on-1 if they can hurry. Booth going toward the net, and that's offside. We've got 9:17 left to go in the first. It's been a good one so far. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of Wildcat Hockey. I'm Rick Pop, president of the NMU Alumni Association. The Alumni Association is proud to be a part of sponsoring tonight's event. We've got Wildcat fans from Sarasota, Florida to Long Beach, California. We hope you have a good time tonight. We thank you for having parties in your region and for all of you for participating in tonight's event. Now, let's go Cats!
I have always depended on the kindness of fiduciaries. I tried to be smart about financial matters and all that, but in fact, I don't think very well about such matters as too busy thinking about other stuff. The most sensible investments I've made have been made by others.
For 80 years, TIA-CREF has managed money for people with other things to think about, Log on to see what we can do for you.
Quick face-off rule in effect. The Spartans and Wildcats tied at 1. They battle in the low corner in the northern Michigan zone. Yuha Allen up the near side. Just got by Joe Markison and into the Spartan zone. Chasing after Murphy. John to avoid John M. Lyles. Now Markison looking for an open teammate. He finds it in Kevin Estrada. Estrada into the northern Michigan zone. Tries to peel back. Hammered by Jeff Waugh. Now here come the Wildcats. Dan Dennett into the corner of the MSU zone. Corey Potter, the freshman defenseman, plays it back for the captain, Brad Fast. Fast, the lone goal scorer for MSU. Able to swing it up the right wing. Mike Lalonde couldn't control, and that's an icing call against the Spartans. College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera as a Big 12 showdown with the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns take on the number 17 Kansas State Wildcats. Coverage begins with the College Football Saturday kickoff show. That's tomorrow for you at 11:30 here on Fox Sports Net. The Simpson Company trying to bounce back after losing to Oklahoma last weekend. Here it's 7:49 left to go in the opening frame. Wildcats led it early 1-0, much to the delight of the Puckheads here in Marquette. And then Brad Fast, first goal of the season, tied it up. Fast nearly turned it over. MSU had 110 turnovers in their first game of the year. Donnett right in front, knocked away. Here comes Estrada. Kevin Estrada gaining the center ice line. Played it to the wing. Mike Lalonde backhanded it down low. Now here come the Wildcats. Dennett. Center ice pass. Justin Kinnunen lost his footing, but got it to Dennett. Can he get a shot away? Peels back at the near side half wall. Sent it in front. Tobe let it slide to the corner. Chris Gobert has control of it. Had it knocked away by Ash Goldie. And now here's Mike Lalonde. He'll chip it up ahead, and the Spartans will roll over a line. Greg Kowalski way up ahead. Bryce Coburn played it in, and an easy glove save made by Justin Tobe.
Well, once the referee is done with the coaches on the fast face-off rule, he points to the line, or one of the assistant referees, and he blows his whistle, does the AR. Dan Brown just blows the whistle, counts to 5, and drops the puck. Ready or not, the biscuit's going down.
Peter Micheludi has that biscuit. Played it in front, and it was tapped wide by Mike Stutzel. On the end boards, Northern Michigan working really hard, and here comes Geisch. Minot Geisch played it to the near side. Jimmy Slater threw it in there and threw a right elbow at Peter Micheludi. Kowalski played it back up the near wall. Slater grabbed hold of it there. Turned it over. Chris Gobert slid it out to the far side wing. Here's Mike Stutzel. Stutzel played it up ahead for Gobert. He'll wrist it into the MSU zone. Wildcats go for a line change. Joe Markison, the first Spartan to it. Up to Brian Maloney. Maloney with a couple of good chances so far in the first period. Steamrolled Dirk Southern and turned it over in the Wildcat zone. Jimmy Jackson. Up the wall to Terry Harrison. Harrison couldn't control it. That's icing against Northern Michigan.
Again, here's the fast face-off rule. The assistant referee blows his whistle, counts to 5. If this guy's not ready, you know what? The puck's going down. And it's just like next they'll be going to a possession clock, I guess.
Is that a way of saying you don't like it?
No, I like it. It forces coaches to be on their toes, and it forces the players to get into position. And I think that's the next logical progression.
Dirk Southern into the MSU zone. Played it back to Terry Harrison. He couldn't control it on the forehand. Duncan Keith turned it over. Harrison. Now Falardo. He took a hit from behind. Duncan Keith throwing some elbows around. Up the near side wall for Booth. David Booth turned it over at the blue line to Jimmy Jackson. Now Terry Harrison tugged at by Keith. Flipped it with a backhand into the MSU zone. Jared Nightingale fanned on the pass. Now Keith tapped it up ahead. David Booth hustling into the Northern Michigan zone. He collides shoulder to shoulder with Jeff Waugh. Scooped up by David Bond. Played it along to Jimmy Jackson up the far wall. Pat Murphy couldn't clear the zone. He does with a second chance. Brad Fast tried to play it back for Tim Herron, and it's thrown back into the MSU zone. They 15 minutes of this first period. Tied at 1. David Booth up the near wall and into the Northern Michigan zone. This chased down by Tim Herron. Martin's trying to forecheck. David Bonk lost it. Ferguson played it back. Herron with a shot, and Kowalski saw that all the way. 4:39 left to go in the first. The Spartans and Wildcats deadlocked at 1 on Fox Sports Net.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable television. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
The Upper Michigan Cancer Center opens the door to expert care in all of these communities. Through full-time cancer specialists here and monthly clinics here, expert care comes to you from one of the best cancer care teams in the Midwest. The Upper Michigan Cancer Center isn't limited to just one place, because keeping you close to home during treatment is one of the best treatments we can give you.
Welcome back to Marquette. Rick Comley now on the Michigan State bench, but both the Spartans and the Wildcats are very familiar with his practices. Comley likes to hold a couple of competitions on a weekly basis. One, the slowest skater, the other is a breakaway competition. Whoever loses the slowest skater has to skate around the rink with a toilet seat on his neck, and whoever loses the breakaway has to suck on a lemon at center ice. Trust me, nobody wants to lose either of these. Matt?
And trust me, I would have them both. Thank you, Shireen. I appreciate that. Northern Michigan into the MSU zone. There's a shot, and that's blocked by Fast. Now a little wobble right in front of Toby, and he got bailed out.
What did Rick say this week? He wrote Cats on the competition sheet instead of Spartans, and heard about it.
Old habits are tough to break, aren't they? Chris Gobert gains the MSU zone. Now Dan Donna right back to Gobert. Shot! Oh, it hit the post. Oh, I thought that went in the back of the net for a moment. Northern Michigan so aggressive. Brad Fast up the right wing. Mike Lalonde. He'll dump it down low. Estrada chases it down. Slides down to a knee. Northern Michigan picks it up. Gobert. There's another run. Coburn to the left wing. A 3-on-2. Stutzel. The senior line. Now Lyles bodies him up into the corner. Good play by J.M. Lyles. That's why he's considered one of the best defensemen in the CCHA. Bryce Coburn in the corner. Holding. Swinging it back down low. Stutzel. Right to the circle. Stutzel digging away. Comes away with it from the pack. Looking for someone in front. Backhand pass. Markuson slid it to Toby, and he'll hold on. A lot of pressure by the Wildcats, Brett.
Well, Chris Gobert, a pure goal scorer. Here's a lesson for young players. Get your stick back on the ice and expect the puck. He didn't have the defenseman beaten, but he had good stick positioning and almost put it upstairs over the right shoulder of Justin Toby. It hit the crossbar and stayed out, and the Cats are up 2-1.
Chris Gobert, #1 in the league in assists with 6, and #2 in the CCHA with 7 points already this year.
Usually he'll have more goals than assists, and may very well at the end of this season too.
There's a 3-on-2 for MSU if they hurry. Right in front, Maloney. Oh, what a save by Kowalski. Second time he stoned Brian Maloney. Duncan Keith with a blind pass. Nightingale pitchforks it out of there. Maloney delivered the hit to Southern. Duncan Keith played it up the far wall. Knee-to-knee hit there. No one hurt, thankfully. Slater gets back up. Jimmy Jackson back into the zone. Wrist shot, and that goes just wide. Actually, that was David Bonk for 28, not 18. And a big hit in the MSU zone.
Well, one of the criticisms of Olympic-sized ice is there's not enough hitting. I think this game is a perfect example of yes, there can be.
Hey, don't miss out on the best hockey lovers package ever, including 4 Red Wings games plus 7 days of college hockey at Joe Louis Arena. These packages are going so fast, so order yours 313-396-7575 during normal business hours. Nothing normal about the hitting going on here tonight. A lot of bumps and bruises for game 2 of this series tomorrow night here in Marquette. Markison to the far side wall. Peter Micheloti, the first one to it, played it up ahead. Brad Fast will take control in the MSU zone. Approaching the minute-and-a-half mark. They send it back in. Justin Toby steadies it there. Toby with 8 saves so far in the game. Falardo up ahead for Booth. David Booth couldn't get it onto the forehand. Alan Swanson came in and stole it. Swanson tried to deliver a hit, and Falardo sent him reeling over the Wildcats boards. Falardo will pick it up. MSU with some numbers. David Booth on the left wing. Nice toe suck and drag there, and couldn't control it. Ferguson. That's Tim Herron waiting for a late comer, a shot, and a save made by Kowalski. And with 55.5 seconds left, a stoppage in play.
And a penalty coming up to the Wildcats. Tim Herron scoops up the puck, and if he's allowed to walk, why not keep going? But Tim Herron, the senior from Southgate, Michigan, still looking for, or the junior rather from Southgate, still looking for his first career college goal. In the box is Jamie Milam, who it will be interesting when the Wildcats play Ferris State. His brother, Troy, is the captain of the Ferris State Bulldogs this season.
So a power play opportunity now for MSU. With 55.5 seconds left in the first period. MSU in their last game against Colgate, in which they won 2-1, went 1 for 8 on the power play. So far on the season, 1 for 13. And our refereeing crew can't decide where they want to drop the puck for the faceoff. They decided just outside the MSU zone. Gober wins it, and Northern Michigan able to dump it in. J.M. Lyles steady it there for Slater. Corey Potter is out there along with Brian Maloney and Nenad Geish. They dump it in. Maloney the first to it. Juha Allen trying to take the body there. They battle in the corner. Spartans hold it in. Slater for Maloney. Poked away by Allen and slung up the far side glass and out of the zone. Corey Potter to Lyles, quickly to Geish. Geish, good stick handling, lost it for a moment. Lyles has it. 6 seconds to go in the period. Corey Potter sends it back in. Spartans won't get much pressure on Craig Kowalski on this power play chance. But they did get the equalizer after 20 minutes of play. The Wildcats beat Justin Toby once in 9 tries. The Spartans did the same against Craig Kowalski and the Wildcats. 1-1 after 20 minutes. Our first intermission comes your way when we come back to Marquette right after this.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
It started with a simple idea: to protect Michigan's educators and school employees with affordable, high-quality insurance. The idea grew and grew, and now, over 50 years later, MEMIC is a leading insurer of Michigan's educational community. Exceptional, affordable coverage for autos, homes, and boats with unparalleled claim service. MEMIC, insurance for educators and school employees. Call 1-888-4MEMIC for a local agent near you.
The World Series is alive. There Barry Bonds faces the defining moment of his career as the Giants look to Barry Gloss and the Cinderella Angels. The World Series this weekend on your local Fox station.
The Detroit Sports Report expanding to 60 full minutes to cover the entire world of sports, from everything Detroit to everything beyond. Tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
How about the Iron Curtain?
The Iron Curtain, all time. That's all time.
That was the group.
That's all pro. You don't
the
get
Hogs.
Oh, it's the Steel Curtain.
The Iron Curtain. Yeah, the Steel Curtain. All of them.
Bruce, you supposed to know that, man.
Yeah, but the Iron Curtain was another team.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. They were in the AFL.
What they call the Cowboys, man, back in the heyday? Y'all got 3 rings. What's happening?
Criminals.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Siragusa, and Davidson. Saturday and Sunday on Fox Sports Net. Many considered Reggie White football's most devastating lineman.
He just was so dominant, it wasn't even funny.
His conservative Christian opinions, however, brought him a different kind of fame.
Homosexuality is a decision, it's not a race.
And made him a lightning rod for controversy.
If you want to hear some preaching, you should go to church.
Reggie White, Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox.
Tonight is Wildcat night across the country as NMU alumni have congregated across this great land to watch this game tonight. From LA to Appleton and Green Bay, they're all watching us here on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to the show. Shireen Saski here with Bryce Coburn, the senior captain of the Northern Michigan Wildcats. Bryce, thanks for joining us. It's been an emotional week, we know, for you guys. How does it feel now to finally hit the ice and get that first period underway?
Yeah, it feels pretty good to get the jitters out of the way there, get our legs going, and the crowd seems to be into tonight. It's nice to see.
A sellout here at the Barry Event Center, that's got to help to pump you guys up a bit.
Well, for sure, the crowd's great, and even they gave Coach Comley a good cheer there, so it's good for him too, right?
I know you guys had a little team bonding back in September when you all went away to a lake house for the weekend, and I understand that during that trip you actually kind of took up a new hobby, some snorkeling. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, I just have some fake teeth, and I put them on the dock to go out fishing and water skiing with the boys, and came back, and they must have fell in the water or something. They were gone, so I had to get a new pair.
And Jimmy Jackson's dad took care of you. So Bryce is okay. Bryce Coburn, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the game.
Thanks.
We'll be back with Rick Comley, the former coach of Northern, now at MSU. Stay with us. His story is next. We'll be right back.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable television. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
Right there in the slot.
is unimaginable. Tobacco's claimed as many lives as war. Draw the line now. Spend the billions from the tobacco lawsuit on health care. Proposal 4 does. It teaches kids not to smoke, funds programs to help adults quit, and funds medical care, because for some, it's already too late. It provides accountability, and it's backed by those we trust. Spend tobacco money on health care. Vote yes on Proposal 4. It's only right.
Welcome back to the Barrie Events Center, the house that Comley built. In 26 years with Northern Michigan hockey, Rick Comley established himself as one of the game's best. He is 7th all-time among NCAA coaches in victories, just 2 shy of 600. And we now take a look back at his illustrious career. Rick Comley's college hockey career began in 1967 when Lakers head coach Ron Mason recruited him. Shortly after graduating, Comley returned to the Sioux as Mason's assistant coach. Then, when Mason left for Bowling Green, the 26-year-old took over.
I told Bud Cooper at the time, I said, Bud, the guy to hire is Rick Comley. Whether he believed it or not, he went ahead and did it, and it worked out quite well.
I shared an office with Tommy Ludwig, the basketball coach, and one day he said, Rick, we need to talk. He said, this is a tough job, but you can't be drinking. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I know in your bottom left drawer that you pull a bottle out every noon hour and take a drink. And I said, yeah. I said, here's the bottle. I pulled it up. It was a big bottle of Malox. So I had an ulcer by November. And so once I got through that, I haven't had one since.
Comley won an NAIA title with Lake Superior after just 3 seasons, then left for Marquette when the opportunity of a lifetime came along, an opportunity to build a college hockey program from the ground up.
I went because I got a big raise to $15,000 a year. The recruiting budget went from $1,500 to $5,000. I couldn't imagine that, you know, and I felt like, hold on, you know, I mean, there's no limits out there. We can just do what we want with this. Just to be able to design that first jersey in your kitchen, to order the first stick, to, you know, to put together the first hockey team, it was just really special.
After last weekend, do you feel the Cats are on the right trail again?
Well, we certainly were Saturday. You know, I think we got our confidence back and loosened up and really started to play, and I would have to hope that it would carry over to this weekend.
Well, I think Rick Comley is NMU hockey. He's the guy that started the program, built it into a national power, was in town, built the Barrie Events Center. Everything that NMU hockey is today, Rick Comley made and created.
His first recruiting class at Northern played in the NCAA title game its senior year. And as the years passed, Comley's career wins continued to mount. But none was more monumental than the Wildcats' NCAA championship victory in '91.
We were up 7-4 with about 6 minutes to go, and they tied it with 1:39 and then had a breakaway. Tony Amati had a breakaway with 2 seconds to go. Billy Pye made a great save and went into overtime, multiple goal posts both ways, and finally won it with a Daryl Pandowski goal in triple overtime.
Bet you could have used the Malox then.
I remember Mark Buffet made a great play, and all of a sudden Daryl got the puck in front. There was nobody near the net. If you look at the picture that's become so famous, the goalie's laying on the ice, the players are out of the net, and we're all on the bench going, Daryl, shoot it. And it had to only be a second, but it seemed like a minute before he shot it.
For the second time in his career, Comley earned the Spencer Penrose Award as college hockey's best coach. And as his success flourished, so did rumors of his departure from Northern.
You know, a lot of speculation with the great record you've got. How long will you be at Northern?
Well, I'll be there until the end of the semester. I know that. No, I don't have any plans right now of going anywhere. I'm very fond of the people in Marquette, the people I work for at Northern. I appreciate the support they've given us, and my wife and I and kids are very, very happy there. And if we were ever to leave, it would take an unbelievable offer to get us out of there.
That offer came on March 25th when Rick Comley followed in his mentor's footsteps once again, this time at Michigan State.
I've been in this building many times, and it's always been on that bench right there. It's not the friendliest place in the world, but I'm looking very, very forward to being on that bench over there.
It had to be something that was a no-brainer to me to leave, and Michigan State was beyond a no-brainer. I mean, it was an opportunity of a lifetime.
Ready?
You know, I like being able to coach, and I like being able to take young players, help them grow into men. I like them to watch that transition. I think college hockey at its highest level is the last true level of pure coaching.
A lot of us kids went to Northern. We were a long way from school, a long way from home, and he was just like in a lot of ways a father figure for us, and he taught us how to respect others and respect your elders, and grew up a little bit quicker than maybe you're used to, but it was a fantastic way to grow up.
I think the biggest thing is that he's taught me is that not to compromise your principles. He's a guy that believes in certain things, and he's not going to waver or bend from those things, and that's something that I've tried to carry with me at everywhere that I've coached.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, outside, up, up, up.
I don't think you're ever done proving. I mean, I wake up every morning and feel I have to be here by 8 o'clock because I have to prove that that's what you need to do.
Go green, go green!
The 26 years will always be a major part of me, and I will always support the institution. So I hope I'm here 10 years. I don't want to just be at Michigan State 2 or 3 years. I want to build a career here. I don't want to just be an asterisk of somebody who was a transition coach from Ron to the next long-term coach. So my goals right now are to be here 10 years. If you do that, then there will be a part of Michigan State history that I'm a big part of.
And to welcome Rick Comley back to Marquette, the Alumni Association at NMU presented him with this honorary lifetime membership. He received his master's in '73. We'll be back.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
Science gives us many tools to fight heart disease, but the most important tool is something you provide. It's time, the extra time that you give us by acting quickly on the warning signs of a heart attack. During an attack, blood flow to the heart is restricted, causing heart tissue to die. The longer you wait, the more extensive the damage. Don't ignore the warning signs, no matter how slight they may seem. Make every second count, because time is tissue.
Coming up tonight after the game, Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my! Matt Millen calls one of his players. Who is the Cowardly Lion? We'll try and find out. The Tigers hire a new pitching coach, and the Bears are going to give Detroit a new look on Sunday. We'll tell you what that's going to be. And what's a Wizard of Oz theme without flying monkeys, of course? Our World Series coverage continues. All that and more tonight after the game.
Back to the line. Robitaille. Down low, Draper. Holmstrom.
What did you do when you were with the Cowboys?
When I was playing, we all used to dress up. We used to dress up, nice clothes.
Even the coaches, too. The coaches, like Landry, back in the day.
Baseball managers wear the uniforms themselves. Why not? Can you see Mike Shanahan and full shoulder pads on the sideline with your
They should make them wear home helmets instead of clipboards.
Right. Exactly.
You got a uniform on. You go right. That's right.
Lead by example. Show me. Don't tell me, man. Show me.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Syracuse, and Davidson, Saturday and Sunday.
October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox.
1-1 tie in Marquette. The first goal winds up going off Justin Tobey on a centering pass from behind the net. So give credit to the goal to number 39, Justin Kinnunen, his first of the season.
Spartans answer with Brad Fast's power play goal, his third in the last 2 seasons, and first goal of the year. Michigan State dumps it in. Craig Kowalski throws it out to the near point. Lyles couldn't hold on to it.
Much more active puck handling goalie this year is Craig Kowalski. He's able to do it because he's got increased stamina and strength. Already showing that here tonight in this game. He's made some 100-foot tape-to-tape passes. Very impressive.
Turnover. Slater. Stolen right back by Jimmy Jackson. Backhanded it out of the zone. John Lyles catching up to it. Lyles, the CCHA Offensive Defenseman of the Year last year. Nice move. Rich shot, score! Oh my!
Well, you called it. Best offensive defenseman in the CCHA, and you just saw why. Such a smooth skating defenseman. Head up all the way. Nice move. And from the angle, spots an opening, and Craig Kowalski wants that one back, as it has put his team down for the first time tonight. John Michael Lyles, who led his team in scoring last season, has connected for his first of the season just 45 seconds into the second period.
Such a quick wrist shot, and 2 goals against Northern Michigan last year, and now John Michael Lyles just 10 points shy of 100 in his MSU career. 2-1, first time the Spartans have led all season.
Well, all of last season we talked about the offensive contribution from the Michigan State blue line. Andrew Hutchinson and John Insana graduated, but with J.M. Lyles and Brad Fast and Duncan Keith, you know that there is going to be plenty of goals from the back end once again this season for the Spartans.
First time Spartans have led in the game, not all season. They have 1 win this year, 2-1 against Colgate. Now here come the Wildcats. Right in front, shot, Nicolotti, 1 save. It's loose in front in the slot. Held in at the high point. Lyles played it with a backhand. Nicolotti pinched in, threw it back down low. Marcuson catches up to it. Joe Marcuson back to John Lyles. Marcuson dumped heavy in the corner too. Lyles up ahead. Nice move. David Booth, the freshman, spins away at the far side wall, looking for some help. Played it down low. And it's cleared. Bryce Coburn doing the honors for the Wildcats. In on Toby. Plays it to Brad Fast. Quickly up ahead. Boy, he had a little on there. Now into the corner. Holland played it back. Here come the Wildcats. Peter Nicolotti dumps it. Kitty corner. Into the Spartan zone. Off the shot. Toe save. Follow up score! Just like that, the Wildcats answer. We're tied at 2.
Well, Peter Nicolotti just dumps the puck into the corner. The first save is made, but Dan Dennett follows up on the play. And Justin Toby is kind of down and out after the initial save. There's the first shot. And then from the angle, no, it's Alan Swanson. It was Dennett with the shot, Swanson with the rebound opportunity, and he buries it.
We thought Swanson was credited with the first goal. They then changed it, so he needed to make sure that he got in the scoring column anyway. So we're tied at 2. Now Justin Kinnunen, who scored that first Wildcats goal, dropped it back. Dennett got tied up by Heron. Here come the Spartans. Hustling Ferguson to center ice. Now here's Keith. Backhand pass. There's a shot by Clark, and it went wide. Jared Nightingale to Dustin Keith, Steve Clark. And that's an offsides call against the Spartans. Got College Football Saturday presented by Kyocera. Has a Big 12 showdown when the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns take on the number 17 Kansas State Wildcats. Coverage begins with the College Football Saturday kickoff show tomorrow at 11:30 here on Fox Sports Net. A different kind of Wildcats club has this place jumping again because of Alan Swanson's first goal of the season. Tied at 2 here at the Berry Event Center in Marquette, Michigan. Glad you joined us for CCHA action on Fox Sports Net. Jimmy Slater in the corner to Geis, who's hammered from behind, and here comes Jimmy Jackson. Played it up the far wall. Had it just past the blue line. But that shot in on Toby that beat him, it's because of those angles, and you were talking about the Olympic size ice. forces you to make quicker shift changes and play the angles differently.
He really had to move over, made the initial save, but because the angle of the shot was so far off to start with, he was out of position for the rebound.
Wildcats turn and burn. David Bonk dangling into the zone. Gently taps it into the corner. Ash Goldie fighting for position for the Spartans. Right open, Gardner scores!
Kevin Gardner, the one-timer. And here is a young man with some great hockey bloodlines. Kevin Gardner, grandfather Cal won Stanley Cups with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Two of his uncles played in the National Hockey League, and Paul Gardner, now an assistant coach with the Nashville Predators. And for Kevin Gardner, that's just his second college goal. Wouldn't know it from that release, would you?
Last year, 30 games, 1 goal. It was a power play goal and a game-winning goal, too. Right now, he has given the Wildcats a 3-2 advantage. Northern Michigan bouncing back with back-to-back goals. They have scored as many goals, Fred Fletch, in this game against this Spartan club as they did in 3 games a year ago. Off the draw. Won by the Wildcats, who have won over this crowd again, and they continue to put the pressure on. Gardner into the corner. Corey Potter took the body. Played it along the end boards. Falardo will chase it down. The sophomore brings it up ahead for MSU. Chad Humbeck couldn't hold on to it. Potter wiped out. That gives Stutzel a chance. Winds and fires, and it's deflected wide. David Booth up ahead. Now Falardo to the wing for the captain. Brad Fast has 1 goal. Stops on a dime, plays it in front. Shot! Oh, what a save by Kowalski! Perfect positioning to keep it a Northern Michigan 3-2 lead.
A great read by Brad Fast, bringing it in. No options down the wing, so we'll pull up and buy a little time. And he spots Huntvet cruising in. Huntvet right on top of Craig Kowalski. Kowalski down in the butterfly, makes the save, and no rebound.
And that's the key, isn't it? Rick Comley's only problem with Justin Tobey was the rebounds that he gave up last time he played. Made a nice chest save there. Tobey was in net in the loss to Denver, gave up too many rebounds. Kowalski has been spectacular here tonight. You'd never know that his goals against on the year is hovering around 3.3.
Now these two goalies, Kowalski and Tobey, both products of the same junior hockey organization, Compuware in Plymouth, Michigan, and they both won national junior championships for the Compuware Ambassadors.
Stutzel hops over on the turnover, has it right in front, they score! In front of the hometown fans, the Marquette native scores his 2nd of the season.
Well, turnover with some good forechecking, and from behind the net, Gobert creates a turnover, beats his man to the front of the net, and it's a 2-goal lead, and we'll keep an eye on the Spartans bench to see what kind of a reaction the coaching staff has as far as the goaltending situation. Matt Migliaccio has got the blocker and trapper in hand, but it appears that young Justin Tobey stays in for now.
3 straight goals by the Wildcats. Gobert, who led this team in plus-minus, game-winning goals, and power play goals a year ago. Wildcats thrown into the MSU bench. And after MSU had taken a 2-1 lead early in this 2nd period, Matt Migliaccio wonders if he might get the nod because the Wildcats have scored the last 3.
Matt Migliaccio, the Spartan Player of the Week, is chosen by the coaching staff for the win, 30 saves against Colgate at the Maverick Stampede last Saturday.
Now Falardo trying to get something going for the Spartans to David Booth. Booth at the far side hash. Played it back to Falardo. Good puck possession by the Spartans. Played it to the blue line and out. Allen tripped up at center ice, and we got a penalty coming to MSU. Shot, Tobey with a save. Swanson, who has 1 of the goals. Kowalski's left his cage. 6-on-5 now on the penalty. Dumped down low, and Corey Potter will touch up. And Northern Michigan, leading 4-2, will get its first power play opportunity of the night.
Well, things go from bad to worse, and I don't know, this is kind of one of those lazy penalties. You're reaching from behind, you're beaten, so you trip them up rather than try and get the legs moving and come back and catch them. You get the stick into the legs, and now the Wildcats on the power play with an opportunity to take a 3-goal lead with David Booth in the box.
Booth's first penalty of the season. Northern Michigan on the power play, a power play that has been 5 of 17 on the year, went 0 for 12 last year against MSU.
Some great firepower.
Gobert at the top of the circle. Coburn back to Gobert, has one goal right in front. Stutzel couldn't get the shot away. Chased down by Jackson at the high point. Nicoludi down in the corner. Coburn to the blue line. Jimmy Jackson holds tight there. Sidesteps his way to the near side half wall for Coburn. Down low. Here's Gobert, stick handling, wristing, and a gut save made by Toby.
Well, we talked to Walt Kyle today, said, well, what kind of system do you use on the power play? And you get the impression Walt's not a big systems guy. He says it's kind of free form. He just wants his players in the power play to support the puck. When you gain possession of the puck, make sure you've got people going to open spaces, create spaces, fill that area. And he got 4 power play goals last weekend against Boston University.
Milo Blinson fires it wide. Second power play unit out there for the Wildcats. Terry Harrison part of it. He plays it down low. Dirk Southern to the blue line and gets it right back. Southern waiting. Milam with a shot that's deflected wide.
2 freshmen on the point.
Milam again, a shot and a right pad save. Slater couldn't clear. Milam got it back. Now waiting. What timing? Hit the post. All kinds of pressure for the Wildcats. Fast, couldn't pitchfork it out of there. Southern played it behind. Harrison trying to get it back up to Southern. One hands it, takes the shot, played it to the high slot. Milam, far side, waiting for it. Trying to set him up. Southern in the corner. 19 seconds left to go on the power play for the Wildcats, leading at 4-2 after scoring 3 goals in a span of 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Harrison down low. Southern looking, waiting, 7 seconds, right in the slot. Shot Swanson! Oh, and a butterfly save by Toby.
Well, Swanson, who has the go-ahead goal for the Wildcats, and then they added another one, and Swanson had a really solid freshman season with 11 goals, and if he can build on that, Walt Kyle will be quite pleased.
His father Al played hockey at MSU, ironically enough. Maloney delivering a big blow. Lyles chasing it down now that MSU is full strength. And a stoppage in play with 12:04 left to go in the second period. David Bach and the Wildcats are pouring it on. They lead 4-2 at home over the Spartans.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
What do you say to those who imagine the things the rest of us might never think of?
The money isn't the first thing. The idea is the first thing.
How was it that they always seemed to make ends meet when you're sure that money was the last thing on their minds?
It does relieve your mind, allows you to focus on your work.
The most sensible investments I've made have been made by others.
For 80 years, TIA CREF has managed money for people with other things to think about. Log on to see what we can do for you.
4-2 and then a goal post. Troy Milo, the Rookie of the Year and best offensive defenseman in his league, as Alan Swanson tipped the Milam shots. And Brian Maloney in the box for boarding, so the Wildcats right back on the power play. They've got all kinds of momentum in this second period so far.
4 penalties taken by Brian Maloney this year. Wildcats right in front, putting more pressure on. Toby had to go down and make the save.
Well, Justin Toby finding that things are happening very, very fast to him in this second period, much like his senior year in high school, Matt. He fast-tracked through Farmington High School, taking basically 2 years in one to allow him to become the heir apparent to Ryan Miller.
Jimmy Jackson at the blue line also took some corresponding courses at Indiana University, did Justin Toby. Here's Chris Gobert winding and firing, and a great save there by Toby. Went out, grabbed hold of it, and held on. Michigan State right now getting outshot in this second period, 13-3.
Toby square to the shooter, and again the key, nothing escapes.
Gobert tried to play it down low. Fast was there, couldn't clear it. Jackson for the blue line, saved the rebound. Now Coburn chased it down. You can tell the Wildcats smell blood. Coburn to Jackson. Now into the corner. Coburn bothered by Corey Potter. Coburn at the half board. Looking in front, playing down low. Coburn to the blue line. Jackson, touch pass right back to Bryce Coburn. 1 minute gone by, and the penalty to Brian Maloney. Coburn winding and firing. That's blocked. Gets it right back. Now Gobert right in front. That's kicked away. Jackson hustles after it to the high point, despite the bad deep right thigh bruise. Gobert again holding to the blue line. Jackson couldn't control it. Wisely backhanded it down low. Falardo took a hammer to it. Held in. Now Gobert again. Kitty corner shot. Saved by Toby. There's the goal! On the rebound. Mike Stutzel has made it a blowout.
The senior Mike Stutzel, big and hard to move in front. And Stutzel tucks it in behind Justin Toby for a 5-2 lead. Another power play goal.
Stutzel with his 3rd goal of the year and 5th point of the season.
Stutzel had a breakout season last year after being hampered by injuries his first 2 seasons, and he looks like he's just going to continue producing.
Voted most improved player last year. Swanson played it up ahead. Now a 3-goal lead for Northern Michigan. They've scored the game's last 4. Duncan Keith delivering a hit, but he fell to the ice. Here come the Spartans. Geich tried to play it up edge. Slater couldn't split the D. Geich gets it back into the corner. Spun away. Avoided a big hit. Tries to fend off Allen, the big freshman defenseman who stands 6'3", 210. Kinnunen played it up ahead. Now to net. Trying to go around Nightingale. Nightingale with a long reach to knock it away and then hit him along the end boards. Kinnunen with 1 goal already. Found the net in the corner. Played it to the circle. Buck with a wrist shot that goes just wide. 9:35 to go in the second. Spartans can't have this period end too soon. Maloney clear the zone. Here comes Goldie trying to get some speed. Jackson grabs hold of it. Goldie's jumped behind the play, and a penalty coming to the Wildcat. Everything has gone the way of Northern Michigan. They've scored 4 straight goals, lead at 5-2, but we'll be down a man when we come back. Right there in the slot.
It started with a simple idea: to protect Michigan's educators and school employees with affordable, high-quality insurance. The idea grew and grew, and now, over 50 years later, MEMIC is a leading insurer of Michigan's educational community. Exceptional, affordable coverage for autos, homes, and boats with unparalleled claim service. MEMIC, insurance for educators and school employees. Call 1-888-4MEMIC for a local agent near you.
Folks, don't miss out on this year's college hockey at the Joe. It includes the 38th annual Great Lakes Invitational, Michigan against Michigan State, the CCHA's Super 6 weekend, and more. Packages start as low as $70 per seat. Call 313-396-7575. Brad Fast at the high point on the power play for MSU. They're 0 for 2 already. Check that, 1 for 2. Fast has that power play go from the high slot with a drive. There it is on the doorstep. Back in. Score! Duncan Keith.
Just 12 seconds into the man advantage. Get the puck back to Brad Fast, blast away and crash the net. And Duncan Keith moves in with Honvet on the doorstep. And Keith just got that puck across the goal line before the net came off its mooring. And that could prove to be a huge goal for the Spartans.
Fast with 2 points. Duncan Keith with his first goal. The honorable mention all-rookie of the CCHA last year, who scored in our first telecast last season in the Cold War here on Fox Sports Net. Does it again.
So much for the 3-3 tie Rick Comley was hoping for.
Got ourselves a shootout. Rick Comley said he wanted to speed things up a little bit with this team, but not sacrifice the defensive part of the game. David Booth tried to spin back Falardo at the far side half board. Working his way away from the board. Look at how big that kid is. He is huge. Booth lost it to Micheludi. Micheludi will play it up the near wall and out of the zone. Gardner giving chase. Lyles, the first one, two, had a couple of goal scorers. Harrison, after the turnover, punched it down low. Gardner couldn't get the pass away. Here comes J.M. Lyles. Lyles dumped it up ahead. Kowalski played it with a paddle up the near wall. Gardner driven over the boards by Corey Potter. Now Lalonde, Mike Lalonde couldn't go side to side because it was knocked down by Alan Swanson. J.M. Lyles got it back. Drives it into the northern Michigan zone. Allen dumped it back. Now played up the near wall. Justin Kinnunen tapped it off the dasher to Swanson. He'll go kitty corner. 7:50 to go in the second. Dennett, the first one to it for northern Michigan. Picked up by Troy Ferguson. 9th round pick of Carolina in 2000. Plays with a backhand to Tim Herron. Herron sidesteps his way around Swanson and dumped it into the northern Michigan zone. Lalonde with a big hit. Kinnunen plays it up ahead for Neil Gidney. The sophomore defenseman plays it into the MSU zone. Corey Potter. Ooh, that's a dangerous play there. He did the splits and was hit from behind, but no harm done. And now a stoppage in play after the puck, I believe, went up into the crowd.
Well, Corey Potter, if you'll notice, coming back for the puck, he turns to make sure that he's not going head first into the boards if he's hit from behind. Important point for all young defensemen. Take an angled approach in, and he did that, and that's the way to do it.
Geisch right in front. Slater with a shot. Kowalski got down and made the save. That's a big one there. Because with 7 minutes left to go in the second, if the Spartans score that second straight goal, it's a one-goal game, and suddenly MSU gains the momentum. Jackson plays it back, turned it over. Keith right in front. Knocked away nicely by Jamie Milam.
Boy, big ice. Two really good skating teams, and it's translated into all kinds of chances. Old-fashioned pond hockey.
Jared Nightingale in his own zone, turning, finding Duncan Keith. Tapped it up ahead, slapped back into the northern Michigan zone. Jimmy Jackson used the wall up to Stutzel. Stutzel has a goal already tonight. Gains the center ice line and wrists it into the corner. Steve Clark battling in that corner for MSU. Up against Bryce Coburn. Coburn walks away from the wall with it. He's tripped up. No call made. Estrada played it up ahead. Here comes Ash Goldie. It's a 2-on-2 as he ventures into the northern Michigan zone. It was tapped away. Now here come the Wildcats. Coburn played it up ahead to his captain. Got it right back. Played it to the right wing, but no one was there.
Stutzel was going to the bench.
Steve Clark took a hit from behind. And then northern Michigan popped it up into the MSU zone. This school holds 9,000, the city 20,000. They're loving life right now. They lead by 2.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
Just as serious as a heart attack, a stroke is a brain attack. It is the number 3 cause of death in the United States and the number 1 cause of disability. Learn to recognize the warning signs. Loss of vision in one eye, numbness on one side of the face, arm, or leg, trouble speaking or understanding speech, double vision, and weakness in an arm or leg. Stroke can strike anyone, anytime, at any age. Early intervention can mean the difference between life and death.
It's a fired up crowd here in Marquette as the Northern Michigan Wildcats lead by 2. Those are the Puckheads behind me, and look at this, they made me an honorary member. I am, I guess, proud to say. Mojo's back there and company. Fox Joe, that's what they're calling me. Matt?
I love, well, see, people love you everywhere you go, Shireen.
She's got her game face on.
She does. She gets to keep that helmet. Mike Lalonde into the Northern Michigan zone. Drops it back for Troy Ferguson. Ferguson holding tight. MSU on a power play. Pass from the blue line. Scores again! Second goal of the game for MSU's captain, and it's now a 1-goal lead for Northern Michigan.
Another power play goal. And the Spartans have 2 goals now on 7 shots. If there's traffic in front, which there is, Brad Fast keeps the shot low, can't be blocked by the large torso of the upper body. And did it go off Yuha Allen?
Looked like it went right through Yuha Allen's legs. But he might have gotten a piece of it. Whatever the case, Brad Fast has as many power play goals in this game as he did all of last year.
Well, Brad Fast lets the shot go nice and low. And is it? Yeah. On that angle, it's going straight dead to the center of the net on Craig Kowalski. But the puck winds up going just inside the post. So I think it did indeed go off Yuha Allen's left skate.
Wildcats trying to respond in a big save by Toby. Full strength now. Shots in favor of Northern Michigan, 26-16. But as Fred mentioned, a few goals for MSU. 2 goals, rather, in 7 shots. Spartans dump it in, and that'll be icing. The goal credit to Brad Fast. As we mentioned, at the 14:39 mark, the assist going to Tim Herron, his first point of the year, and Mike Lalonde, his first point of this 2002-2003 campaign.
So it's a shootout at Beering Event Center after a 1-1 score after 20 minutes. And they've rattled in 7 goals here.
Hard to believe. 9 goals scored in this game. 12 between these two teams in 3 games last year. Falardo tried to line up Gidney for the hit. Gidney sidestepped him just in time. Coburn couldn't get it past the center ice line, but Allen does. Throws it into the MSU zone. Toby settles it there for Brad Fast, who has 2 goals in this contest, both with the extra attacker. Gidney in his own zone with Juha Allen from Tampere, Finland. Up ahead for Stutzel. Took a hit from Potter. Now Gobert tried to go top shelf and hit the netting.
Take one more look at the second Brad Fast goal in this period that cut the Wildcats lead to just 1. Ferguson with the pass, the one-timer, and I think it did have to go off Juha Allen's left skate because the trajectory of Fast shot was going right mid-net on Craig Kowalski.
Harrison battling in the corner. Played it in front. There's a shot. They score! Dirk Southern with his 2nd goal of the year, and it's now a 2-goal lead.
Can you say last shot wins? Dirk Southern whose father is a scout for the Minnesota Wild. Gives the Barrie Event Center crowd something to go wild about here with 3:47 to go. Dirk Southern played for the Lincoln Stars of the United States Hockey League last season, one of 2 import players that USA Hockey Junior A teams are allowed, and he put up some good numbers there.
He had 23 goals and was named Rookie of the Year. Terry Harrison in the corner. Trying to play it back for Gardner. Kevin Gardner has a goal in this contest. Now Harrison trying to work his way out from behind the net. Played it in front. Another shot. Southern. Oh, I thought he scored again. Southern dangling to the blue line. Oh, and scores from the blue line.
Juha Allen, the big rookie from Tampere, Finland, with his 2nd goal in as many games. And the Wildcats are just doing a great job of getting traffic in front of Justin Toby. And if you're Rick Comley, you have to be wondering, with 6 goals past him, how long until we do some damage to the confidence of Justin Toby?
And the last 2 goals just 27 seconds apart. 7-4. We're getting writer's cramp trying to keep up with all the goal score. Fast, who has 2 of them for MSU to Lalonde. What a response by the Wildcats. After MSU drew within 1, the Wildcats scored 2 straight of their own and bumped it right back up to a 3-goal lead. 7-4, Northern Michigan. Donnett played it into the corner. Kinnunen spins away from Fast. Played it with a backhand to the corner with 2:36 left to go in the period. Kinnunen took a hit from Potter. Potter's a big kid, 6'4", 183 from Madison, Wisconsin. Throwing his body around. Another assist for Terry Harrison, by the way, and for Dirk Southern, who has a 2-point game. Jeff Waugh in his own corner to Jimmy Jackson. Right back to Waugh. Used the dasher to clear the zone.
Well, Rick Comley told the Blue Line Club luncheon today, he said, you know what? I'm not sure if we're a good team right now. He said, I think we can be, but there's a lot of things we have to work on in the transition.
He also said that after the 5-0 loss to Denver, Ron Mason talked to him and said, where is this new style you talk of? Rick Comley said, it's a belief. It'll come. 7-4, Comley's old club. Walt Kyle's new team leads it with under 2 minutes to go in the period.
And a charging Miner coming up against the Spartans. Big freshman David Booth. Booth, 6'1", 206 pounds. Well, it looked like Booth initially. Instead, make the penalty go to number 26, Chad Huntvets, the freshman from Warroad, Minnesota, who has a brother who plays at Dartmouth of the ECAC. Charging, and there's a lot of open ice.
It's a good call.
A lot of open ice with 200 feet, 15 feet extra width.
Power play the rest of the period for the Wildcats, who already have a 3-goal cushion. High slot. Southern played it back to the blue line. Damien Milam waiting for it in the high slot. Nearly broke his stick. Spartans cleared.
You know, leaving Justin Toby in, this could be a message too from Rick Comley saying, you know what? It's not the kid's fault. We're not giving him much support. And after a couple of goals, the Spartans have gone to Justin Toby, maybe with that exact message, Matt.
Well, Jimmy Slater said it could have been 20-0 in Denver if it weren't for Toby. Instead, it was a 5-0 loss, and he made 30 saves. Allen backhands it to Harrison. Has a couple of points tonight. Lost his footing. Under a minute to go in the period. 7-4 Wildcats. Milam had too much time. Now to the far circle. Gets it back. One timing. Score!
That deflected off somebody or something, maybe Alan Swanson again. The shot by Milam. And yeah, I think it went off Alan Swanson. Again, let's take another look at it from a different angle. Swanson net fronts. And we'll have to wait for the announcement and see what referee Steve Pietrowski saw.
If it is Swanson, it would be his second of the game. 8-4. Northern Michigan leads. Michigan State was #1 in the country last year, giving up just 1.8 goals against. Stutzel in the corner, hit by Keith. 24 seconds to go.
It was Swanson. And there's only one thing that the Berry faithful love more than a Wildcats goal, and that is when it's scored by a Wildcat from Marquette, Michigan. And Alan Swanson, one of 4 Marquette natives on this Wildcats roster. The others, Chris Gobert and Jimmy Jackson, along with Justin Kinnunen, who's actually from Nagani, but it's only 12 miles away.
Booth, make it Falardo. The near wall, sent right back in by Neil Gidney. 8 seconds to go in the period. Now here's Booth. Finally clearing the zone. Wildcats, after 40 minutes of play, have made a statement for everyone to recognize. The 14th best team in the country is beating the #2 team, or number 10 team in the country, 8-4. 21-7. The Wildcats outshoot the Spartans. They're doubling them up. 8-4 on Fox Sports Net.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable television. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
Enjoying the game? Hello again. I'm Rick Pop, president of the NMU Alumni Association, which is one of the sponsors of tonight's event. I want to thank all of the Wildcat fans for tuning in to today's broadcast, and especially thank the NMU Alumni Association members for helping make this event possible. We have people watching this event in Iron Mountain, Battle Creek, Chicago, Detroit, Long Beach, California, Green Bay, Appleton, Austin, Texas, and many more places. What a great day to be a Wildcat.
Coming up tonight after the game, Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my! Matt Millen calls one of his players a coward. So just who is the Cowardly Lion? We'll try and find out. The Tigers hire a new pitching coach, and the Bears are going to give Detroit a new look on Sunday. We'll tell you what that's going to be. And what's a Wizard of Oz theme without flying monkeys, of course? Our World Series coverage continues. All that and more tonight after the game.
Many considered Reggie White football's most devastating lineman.
He just was so dominant, it wasn't even funny.
His conservative Christian opinions, however, brought him a different kind of fame.
Homosexuality is a decision, it's not a race.
And made him a lightning rod for controversy.
If you want to hear some preaching, you should go to church.
Reggie White, Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
They fight to make a difference. They dare to change their world.
I can't really say I've ever had a role model. Well, now I've got one. Thank you.
But next week,
rumor has it that the students are planning something.
Their dreams are about to shatter.
This walkout is about the students' power.
This is about outrage.
Things need to change.
Shut up.
No, you shut up.
People, let's calm down.
The new season of Boston Public. Next week on Fox.
October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox.
A barn burner at the Berry Event Center. 10 goals scored in the second period. Northern getting the edge on that, and the Wildcats lead 8-4 after 2 periods of play. Well, Brad Fast, the captain for Michigan State, got 2 goals for the Spartans in that period. But Brad, I got to ask you, have you ever been involved in 20 minutes of hockey like that?
Not that I can remember, not in the longest time. I mean, it's just
goal after goal out there. I think we're both trying to settle it down a little bit on the penalty kill, but it doesn't seem to be working so well right now.
How much does the Olympic-size rink affect the play out there?
It's much more wide open, definitely. It's a lot harder to play defensively in a rink like this. Maybe that could be one of the reasons for what's going on tonight, but definitely helps out the offense. It's really hard on the defense in there.
Now, I know everybody's talked about this game as the showdown between the student and the mentor, but for you, it's a battle of close friends, as you and Stutzel have a history together.
Yeah, we played about a year and a half together in junior before we went our separate ways to university. We've kept in touch quite a bit since we've gone to school, but it's definitely another sort of competition out on the ice.
Any friendly wager or any conversation beforehand?
I think that we're just so competitive that neither of us wants to give an inch out there. We don't have any wagers or anything, but we're not going to give each other any room on the ice.
All right, Brad, thanks for joining us. Brad Fast, 2 of the goals in the period. Stutzel gets 1. Northern leads, though, 8-4. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable television. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
I have always depended on the kindness of fiduciaries. I tried to be smart about financial matters and all that, but in fact, I don't think very well about such matters as I'm too busy thinking about other stuff. The most sensible investments I've made have been made by others.
For 80 years, TIA CREF has managed money for people with other things to think about. Log on to see what we can do for you.
Northern Michigan celebrating an 8-4 lead after 2 periods of play. The Wildcats giving their fans plenty to cheer about in this wide open game. Well, it's almost like alumni weekend here at Northern, as this weekend series has been highly anticipated for months. A bunch of hockey alumni are in attendance. One such alum, though, is here each and every night. That's Dave Shayak, who is the focus of this week's Where Are They Now? It is arguably the greatest hockey game ever played.
Kachuk fights for it. The chance gets it over to Cisco!
4 seconds free. Hiller the shot. It's blunted, and we're going to go to a third overtime. Third overtime.
In 1991, former Northern Michigan assistant captain Dave Shyak's last game in a Wildcat uniform was just that, wild. 2 teams, 3 overtimes, 15 goals, 1 national champion.
To be involved in a game of that significance and such a roller coaster of a ride. I mean, like I said, you're down 3-0 after 1, you're up 5-3 after 2, your head's 7-4 with 9 minutes left. You think that you have the game in hand, and they come back and score. And then actually Tony Amonte went down, and he almost scored at 2 seconds left where Billy Pye came up with that big glove save.
8 seconds left. Maybe BU can get one more shot off. Oh, here comes Amonte. He shoots. And Pye with a save with 1 second left. Tony Amonte, one of the most prolific scorers in the game, is stoned by Billy Pye.
The 1991 national championship came down to 1 shot heard round the UP, and Dave has the details down pat.
Mark Buffet went out there and made an incredible play. They did a nice give and go at the blue line. He dropped pass between the legs. Mark Buffet went to the right side of the net and drew almost everybody over to him, and the goalie committed to him, and he passed it back over to Plandowski, who nobody covered, and he had an open net to shoot from. And we had a perfect view from the bench. All he had was a puck on a stick and an open net. He just had to shoot. And it seemed like it took him forever to get that shot off. And once he did, obviously, there was a huge celebration after that. So it was an incredible game, incredible game.
11 years later, Dave still beams as he reflects upon a team loaded with talent and great friends.
During the 4-year span, when I was at Northern Michigan University, we won 2 league championships, had the opportunity to win a national championship, and it was a great, great experience, and it was a great opportunity for me. And I think the things that I cherish most is the friendships we gained during those successful years, and also coming out with a degree.
With many teammates flocking to the NHL, Dave took his game in a different direction after that season.
I actually went into Edinburgh, Scotland, played professional hockey there for a year, and at that time I took some classes over there to continue my education. And then after 1 year of having fun and doing things over there and experiencing that, I wanted to come back and finish up my degree. And during that time I spoke to Rick and said, could I help out with the hockey program?
So where is he now?
A job opened up at Northern and had that opportunity to come back to my alma mater as an assistant hockey coach, and I've been there for 7 years, so it's worked out real well. I enjoy coaching. I like giving back to the game. I enjoy teaching, and I like being around the guys, and you know, it's rewarding when you have success, and it can be very challenging when you don't have success. But hockey's been good to me, and I love it, and I have a passion for it, and I'd like to continue on as a head coach someday.
And in his eyes, Dave couldn't have learned from anyone better.
Rick in himself is probably considered one of the better hockey coaches in college hockey. But it's not only his teaching of the game, his demeanor, his professionalism. It's everything about being a coach that has made me a better coach and made players that have played for him better people. I owe him everything I am today and the opportunity he's given me. And hopefully I can do that and carry that through when I have the opportunity to coach players further down the road.
So which road will Dave follow in his coaching career?
You don't get into it to be the second guy in command. You want to be the guy, and I'd like to do that someday. I've had the opportunity to interview for different types of programs, and I'm looking at being a head college hockey coach someday. And if pros in the future, I'll take that one day at a time.
Find a hole, find a hole, find a hole! Find a hole, Manny! Don't hide, don't hide! Get on puck side, get on puck side.
But for now, Shyak happy to be with the Wildcats. After all, they're up 8-4 after 2. We'll be back with more after this.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember, and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
The explosions, overpowering. The roar of the crowd, deafening. The electricity in the air, raw. Bring your signs, bring your attitude. Be a part of the most exciting show on cable television. Raw. Monday, October 28th, World Wrestling Entertainment returns to Detroit when Raw comes back to the Joe Louis Arena. Don't miss Booker T, Triple H, or RVD. Get your tickets now.
It started with a simple idea: to protect Michigan's educators and school employees with affordable, high-quality insurance. The idea grew and grew, and now, over 50 years later, MEMIC is a leading insurer of Michigan's educational community. Exceptional, affordable coverage for autos, homes, and boats with unparalleled claim service. MEMIC, insurance for educators and school employees. Call 1-888-4MEMIC for a local agent near you.
Oh, yeah. Can't be like anybody else's show. No.
And you know what? Let's not say that we're going to be cutting edge. Let's be cutting edge. Like this you got on right now. Don't even put sleeves on.
I will show up.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got to show the pads.
Take them off. With that.
That's like a Star Wars thing. There you go.
With that. There you go. Y'all see I got the money?
Yeah.
I come like this here. Can I come this way? I'll come like this.
The NFL Show with Irvin, Syracuse, and Davidson. Saturday and Sunday on Fox Sports Net.
Look at that. You're hanging out here, bro.
Holmstrom back to the line. Robitaille down low. Draper. Holmstrom.
Hey, settle down. Now, don't worry. If Keyshawn Johnson said he'll be here, he'll be here.
We'd like to welcome in a guy who always finds time to be on the show, Keyshawn Johnson.
October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox.
By popular demand, our top 10 goals from the second period: J.M. Lyles, Alan Swanson, Cal Gardner, Chris Gobert in tight. Mike Stutza will jam one in. Duncan Keith on the power play slips in from the right point. Brad Fast with a one-timer. Dirk Southern, his second goal of the season. Juha Allen, a blast. And Swanson with a redirect to finish it off. 10 second period goals, 8-4 Wildcats, and we were scrambling for the record books.
And a new goalie for Michigan State, Matt Migliaccio, the Spartan player of the week last week. Won the game against Colgate with 30 saves and a 97 save percentage. The sophomore from Wyandotte. Michigan State giving up 7 goals in that second period, the most goals that they've given up in a period in 50 years. Just the third time they've ever given up that many. There's a shot that goes just wide.
1952, Minnesota popped in 7 in a period.
14 players for Northern Michigan with at least 1 point. 6 have multiple point games. Bryce Coburn,
who doesn't have a point.
All right, who brings it out of his own zone and dumps it into the MSU corner. J.M. Lyles. Keep in mind, we talked about the Olympic ice. Michigan State practiced here yesterday and this morning, and practiced in East Lansing on an Olympic-sized rink on Wednesday. Try and get adjusted. Jimmy Jackson adjusting by throwing the puck into the corner. Migliaccio steers it with a backhand. Heron waits for it. Justin Kinnunen. Hit by Lyles. Now Markuson goes shoulder to shoulder with Alan Swanson. Here comes Mike Lalonde. And he lost it at center ice to Jackson, who will wrist it right back into the Spartan zone. MSU hammers it out of there. Jackson will catch up to it. Tim Heron applying some pressure, forcing the turnover. Ferguson sweeps it along the end boards. Heron, who has an assist, waiting. Stick handling, lost it. Lalonde in the corner. Now Heron tried to play it to the point for Fast. Here comes Harrison. Harrison tugged at by Fast. Load him up a little bit. Harrison centering pass. Shot save by Migliaccio. Great save there. The first test of the game.
And that's a tough test when you've got Justin Kinnunen barreling in you. Set up in tight all alone. Harrison gets the puck over. Kinnunen tried to tuck it in underneath the outstretched glove of Matt Migliaccio. And Migliaccio says, come back again next time.
Northern after winning the draw. Shot never got through. Spartans clear. 12 goals between the two teams in the first two periods. That's as many goals as they had combined in 3 games last year. Nightingale sweeping it toward Kowalski, who made the save on the short side. David Booth locked up there with Dave Pietrowski, the referee. Here come the Wildcats, wristing it into the corner. Migliaccio comes way out to settle it down for Duncan Keith. Nope, swept it up the far wall and turned it over. Bog tried to come away with it, and he lost it. Here's Booth, 1-on-2. David Booth into the Wildcat zone between the legs. Shot! Oh, he missed it far side, but a beautiful move as the net comes off its moorings. Great move by the freshman.
It was 1-on-1. David Booth against a fellow freshman, Juha Alén, who went fishing for the puck. And Booth walks in, and he tried to wire it upstairs between the legs. The old howdy-do tried to wire it upstairs, high glove side on Kowalski. And you get the sense, hey, if State gets an early one here, hey, they're still in the ball game.
Long way to go to make up for it, though, especially with number 33 between the pipes.
He was tough early in the first period. Craig Kowalski, or Michigan State could have had 2 or 3 in the early going. And then the floodgates open in the Michigan State Spartans in period number 2.
How do you feel if you're Justin Tobey, though? Again, the second youngest player in this league. And you wonder, when you give up that many goals, he has now given up 13 in 2 starts. Can't help but wonder a little bit, but it is early. You don't win a national championship at the junior level by being a sieve either. He can play. There's a shot in the glove save made by Migliaccio just to be safe. Milam.
Matt Migliaccio played last weekend against Colgate with the name on the back of his jersey spelled wrong. It was missing the 3rd I. And goalies, being the superstitious types they are, thought they might just keep his nameplate that way, but it's properly spelled here tonight.
He won it properly spelled last year. Won his only start a year ago
against Quinnipiac, a non-conference opponent.
Brad Fast, who has 3 points on the night, lost it to Stutzel. Mike Stutzel played it in front. They score. Chris Goldberg.
Well, Chris Goldberg, one of those players, has a nose for the net. Watch him go to the net right out in front, gets the stick down, the stick always honoring the puck, and just a little redirect flip up with the backhand for a 5-goal bulge now for the Northern Michigan Wildcats on Goldberg's 2nd of the night, 3rd of the season.
And 3rd point of the hockey game. The 9 goals scored by Northern Michigan ties a record in the history of the series between these two teams. Northern Michigan scored 9 goals in a win in 1982, but hadn't scored more than 5 the rest of the series. Same 2 teams meet here tomorrow night. Rick Comley has got to be wondering what awaits him then as well. How his team will respond. Every team goes through some adversity during the season. The Spartans, it's coming early. Keith with a shot and a great right toe save made by Kowalski.
Kowalski with the drag save there, dragging the right leg in behind his body movement as he went from right to left.
Jackson plays it up the far wall. Sutherland. Dirk Sutherland into the MSU zone. Oh, great move. Oh, my. What a goal.
Well, that just can't happen if you're Rick Comley and the Michigan State Spartans. He walks through their entire team. That is an embarrassing goal. You have to get a stick, an arm, a leg, something on him to slow him down. And for the first time since February of 1994, an opponent has hit double digits on the scoreboard against Michigan State. The Lake State Lakers back in the 93-94 campaign put 11 past the Spartans goalies.
Rick Comley must be stunned. Wow. You get back to Dirk Southern's goal, though. The freshman from Winnipeg. That's as pretty a goal as you will ever see.
And you also get the impression now that while Rick Comley's not enjoying it, at what point does Walt Kyle also not begin to enjoy it? Although you practice so hard and you want such intensity, you can't call off the troops.
No,
Matt.
no way. I mean, these kids are working too hard. They want to get as many points as possible. Fast. Shot blocked. Here comes Jackson on his toes. One-on-one against a freshman. Got by him. And then Potter made a nice play to sweep it out of there. It's a good point, though, Fred. At what point does Walt Kyle feel a little bit more uncomfortable? This team definitely wants to send a message for tomorrow night, too. And this is one of 28, but this is a big game. These two teams in the same cluster with Michigan and Lake Superior. They want to send a message that they are a force to be reckoned with. Maloney caught up to into the corner and was hit hard. Here come the Wildcats with 13:40 to go. Nightingale tapped it back to the blue line. Maloney got it to Slater. He's been quiet. Duncan Keith at center ice to Nightingale. His defensive partner quickly up the right wing. The drop back pass for Slater. Wrist shot hit the post. Third post we've heard tonight. Here comes Gobert. A three-point night in his bag already. Dumps it into the corner with a backhand. Duncan Keith chases it down. Wrists it up the far wall. Dice couldn't hold on to it. Near turnover there. We talk about turnovers. Again, they had 110 against Denver in the 5-0 loss. 8 each by the 6 defensemen. And it's legit because the coaching staff went back and looked at the tape and counted. Trying to pin it up against the wall. Gobert. Out of Stutzel. Walks away to the blue line. Allen with a shot and a blocker save made by Migliaccio. Another drive from the blue line never found its way. Lalonde played it up ahead. It was tapped away by Stutzel. Senior leadership on Northern Michigan. What an influence they have been on the underclassmen already this year.
Senior leaders so important in college hockey from an experience standpoint, also from a size and strength standpoint.
Aaron dumps it down low. You wonder how much this is taken out of the Spartan players, too. I mean, they're down by 6. They have to keep trying, but the incentive isn't there like it was at the beginning. Markison, wrist shot, found its way, but Kowalski got just enough to knock it away. You want scoring? You found it. Markison plays it down low. Lalonde taps it to Herron. Tim Herron waiting, centering. Lyles couldn't kick it out of the forehand. Now Lalonde hit from behind. Jackson trying to pin it there. Waiting for a whistle. Never came. Lalonde walks away from the wall with it. Hit again. Ferguson slides along the end boards. Stick handling. Chad Hontvent. Shot went wide. Spartans hold it in, courtesy of David Booth. Harrison waits for it for Northern Michigan and clears the zone. Plays it up ahead. Markison grabs hold of it. Plays it to Hontvent. Now Markison slides it toward Troy Ferguson, who's going on for a line change. Spartans send it in and go on a forecheck. Hammered out of there by the Wildcats. Approaching the halfway point of the third period. Saxo with a backhand try, blocked by Potter. That Sanso picks it back up to the circle. Taken down by Fast. Falardo backhands. Chad Hotbin takes a glance over his left shoulder, plays it up ahead for David Booth. Booth, one-on-one, going right side, drags it back, got the shot away, but missed the cage.
Boy, Booth has shown some nifty one-on-one moves in this third period. Hasn't finished, but the movement has been excellent.
That's Sanso. Tried to drag it by Fast, but the senior is used to that move. Played it well. Bonk dumped from behind the play by Lee Falardo.
This Bonk, Ciencio, and Murphy line more of an energy line, but I like this combination in the first period.
We have played nearly half the third period. 10:02 left to go in the third, and Stutzel and company lead by a bunch.
Starring Frankie Avalon. For the first time ever, your favorite songs from a hit movie are live on stage in an all-new production. Grease, it's still the word.
Coming to the Fox Theater. Tickets on sale now at the box office and Ticketmaster.
And emotional and intense Jimmy Jackson. Just listen how intense it is.
Three! Get on him!
Well, Rick Comley has always emphasized on-ice communication. And you could hear Jim Jackson speaking to his defense partner, Neil Gidney.
Jimmy Jackson, one of the leaders of this hockey team, who was third on the club in shots a year ago. Playing a little bit injured here tonight, but a 10-4 lead for his club makes the pain go away a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Used to be a rule in a Comley coach team. I'm sure it still is, Matt. You cannot make a pass without a verbal cue. You have to hear the guy you're passing to call for the puck before you can pass it. And in fact, practice drills here in Marquette, some freshmen would go for a couple practices before they caught on and actually received pucks from upperclassmen.
Well, we picked the right guy to Mike, though, Jimmy Jackson. Again, a leader and led this team in plus-minus a year ago. Seen a lot of ice time. He has the puck right now, backhands it. Up ahead for Milam.
Played much of the second half of the season, Jim Jackson, in a shoulder harness and really could not shoot the puck effectively. He's back healthy from the upper, on the upper body perspective now.
There's a test there, Coburn. And a nice save by Migliaccio, but he's been beaten 10-4. Wildcats in control.
Harvard, Northwestern.
Specialists on the medical staff of Marquette General Health System have trained at some of the most prestigious medical centers in the country.
Columbia, Johns Hopkins.
They practice here because of Marquette General's advanced technology, Upper Michigan's quality of life, and because they like the people.
Henry Ford, Mount Sinai.
Skilled physicians, part of the team of many expert hands at Marquette General Health System, Upper Michigan's Regional Medical Center.
What do you say to those who imagine the things the rest of us might never think of?
The money isn't the first thing. The idea is the first thing.
How was it that they always seemed to make ends meet when you're sure that money was the last thing on their minds?
It does relieve your mind, allows you to focus on your work.
The most sensible investments I've made have been made by others.
For 80 years, TIAA-CREF has managed money for people with other things to think about. Log on to see what we can do for you.
It's a hairy situation here for Northern Michigan and the Spartans. 10-4 Wildcats leading college football Saturday, presented by Kyocera. Has a Big 12 showdown. Texas against Kansas State. Coverage begins with a college football Saturday kickoff show tomorrow at 11:30, and it's only here on Fox Sports Net. Number 8 against number 17 tomorrow. This is number 10 against number 14, and the lesser seed is having its way with a heavy favorite. Lalonde drives it in. Kowalski sweeps it up the glass. Dirk Southern, a three-point night. Up ahead for Harrison. Beautiful pass, and Harrison's shot was blocked by Joe Marcusson. Harrison gets it back with a circle. Near side, Wah with a shot, and a glove save made there by Matt Migliaccio.
Well, the Wildcats are in sync. You can just tell from that last rush. A good, quick move by Southern in the neutral zone. Moves the puck ahead. It's on the tape. And the Northern Michigan Wildcats have been rewarded with all that great puck movement with an all-time series record in their games with the Spartans.
Holland from the blue line. Never got through. Follow-up by Gilbert and a save made by Migliaccio. Neil Kidney testing Migliaccio there. 8:10 to go in the third. Spartans trying to save face. Give them some momentum for tomorrow night's rematch.
That's what Rick Comley had to be saying after two periods down 8-4. Let's make sure we've got a good third period here and have something to build on tomorrow night, but it hasn't turned out that way.
Brad Fast has done his job. He has 3 points, including 2 goals. Drops it back. Booth with a shot. Never got through.
Brad Fast not too happy so far about the first 2-goal game of his college career.
MSU on the verge of going 1-2. That said, MSU, last time they lost an opener was 2000. They won 10 straight and advanced to the Frozen Four. In 88 and 89, they lost their opener as well, and then won 19 straight and advanced to the Frozen Four. They will not win back-to-back games after losing their opener this year, though. Wildcats holding it steady, trying to be patient. That time it was flipped up into the Wildcats bench. Jimmy Jackson has to smile at that.
Well, we were joking with some of the players. What happens if you're going past the Michigan State bench and you hear your former coach barking instructions?
There's one right there in the slot, and oh, Kevin Estrada received the pass from Jared Nightingale, but couldn't get the shot away he wanted. Tried to settle it down, and it bounced off the tape a little bit stronger than he expected.
Kevin Estrada won the Brett Hull Trophy in 2001 as the top scorer in the British Columbia Hockey League, but he wishes he had that chance back for a second effort with his hands.
Last year, 4 goals in 40 games. Here come the Wildcats. Waugh tried to send it in. Gobert touched it into the corner. That's an offsides call against Northern Michigan. Shireen Saski.
Thanks, Matt. Well, Chris Gobert with 2 goals tonight. He's played a numbers game throughout his career at Northern. He wanted jersey number 27 his freshman year. Someone else had it, so he said, how about number 10? Nope, that was taken too. So he took 26 his freshman year, went on to become the CCHA Rookie of the Year. Then he was number 10 his sophomore year when that became available. Finally, last year, the number he coveted, number 27, and he had a career-high 19 goals. Seems like 27 is working for him again this year. Matt?
Have to agree there. It's working tonight, too. 2 goals and 3 assists. The former stick boy of that 1991 national championship game is having himself a night. Ryan Maloney, who's had a couple of scoring chances, but both came in the first. Hasn't done much since. Coburn winds and fires, and Migliaccio with a gut save there.
Yeah, Brian Maloney, who had 4 points in the series here last season, in which the Spartans came in and swept the Wildcats, including a 3-0 Ryan Miller shutout on the Saturday night. But Brian Maloney and the rest of the Spartans, they had a pretty good start to this game. Northern got some good goaltending from Craig Kowalski early and was able to fight through the early adversity and really pour on the offense the other way.
Well, before starting this period, since the first, Northern had outshot MSU 26-9.
That was 9-9 after 1.
Isn't that something?
It was dead even after 1 period. 1-1 score, 9.
Michigan State actually had the 2-1 lead.
9 shots apiece, and the scoring chances probably favored Michigan State in that first period.
Before the proverbial floodgates opened up for the Wildcats. An onslaught of speed and skill. Southern drives it in to the right of Migliaccio. He'll steer it off the dasher. Fast couldn't catch up to it. Now Ferguson drops it back for Fast. Ferguson with a couple of helpers on the night. Approaching the 5.5-minute mark of this third period. Gidney slid down, couldn't control it. Heron hops all over that loose puck. Tried to center it for Lalonde, but a nice play by Peter Micheluti. Held in by Corey Potter. Sent it down low. Gidney giving up the puck by Lalonde. It squirts free. Here come the Wildcats. David Bonk into the MSU zone. Couldn't get by Duncan Keith. Solid defensive play. Now the Spartans hurrying. David Booth into the NMU zone. Takes a glance over his right shoulder. He's two-timed along the inboards. 5 minutes to go in the third. Lee Filardo catches up to it. Took a hit. Able to shake it off. Duncan Keith pinched in. Sent it in front. No Spartan was home. Murphy hit from behind. Tried to pin it against the dasher and gain a whistle. You can hear the referee say move it, and finally he blows the whistle. 4:40 left to go in regulation. It's been all Wildcats at home. 10-4.
You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it from their laughter. You can sense it in their excitement. Now share moment after magical moment with your children as their favorite television show comes to life on stage. Dragon Tales Live. Watch fantasy turn to reality in front of their very eyes. It's an experience you'll always remember and a live performance they'll never forget. Dragon Tales Live. Make it magical. See it now.
November 1st through 3rd at Cobo Arena. Tickets are on sale now.
The death toll is unimaginable. Tobacco's claimed as many lives as war. Draw the line now. Spend the billions from the tobacco lawsuit on health care. Proposal 4 does. It teaches kids not to smoke, funds programs to help adults quit, and funds medical care because for some, it's already too late. It provides accountability, and it's backed by those we trust. Spend tobacco money on health care. Vote yes on Proposal 4. It's only right.
A limited number of tickets for Red Wings home games in October and November are still available, including this Monday against Calgary and Wednesday against LA. Get tickets at the Joe Louis Arena box office, all Ticketmaster outlets, or by calling 313-396-7575. This is our first trip in here to the Barrie Events Center in Marquette. Calling CCHA action here on Fox Sports Net, and the folks have treated us well. And their hockey team has treated Michigan State very poorly. They lead at 10-4 in a runaway.
The hospitality's been marvelous, and we heard all week this was the biggest event. This is the biggest event to hit Marquette from a hockey standpoint in some time. And only fitting, maybe, that two local products, Chris Gobert and Alan Swanson, both from Marquette, have a pair of goals here tonight and have really shown the way with an area that's so proud of its hockey heritage.
Brad Fast played it up the wall to Maloney. Brian Maloney takes a glance, played it off the dasher, and it's swept back in by Dan Dennett. Fast gaining speed. One of the most versatile defensemen in the country, according to Rick Comley. Lost it in the NMU zone, though. Kinnunen couldn't get by Potter. Corey Potter with a nice defensive play. Been impressive at times tonight for a freshman. Now Brian Maloney. Dangling into the NMU zone, played it to Slater. Jimmy Slater goes behind the net. Held it at the blue line, and then Nightingale couldn't hold it in. Here's Corey Potter. Plays it back to Jared Nightingale. Here comes the freshman with his head up. Wrists it into the corner. Took a hit. Kowalski will steer it right back where it came from. Kevin Gardner played it up ahead. Here comes Dirk Southern. Southern with 3 points already. Leaving it for Harrison. Terry Harrison couldn't get by Mike Lalonde, who played it off the side of his own net. Right there is Southern, and his shot went up into the netting.
Dirk Southern with a goal and 2 assists tonight, and he has shown us a lot. Scored a highlight reel goal in this period to go with a couple of assists from earlier in the hockey game, and the freshman from Winnipeg, Manitoba, has opened some eyes here.
Ran track in high school, 5th in the province in the 1500 meter. Great move by Booth, and a better save by Kowalski. Markuson with with a shot. Another save. Now onto the stick in the middle of Lyles, and another save by Kowalski. 3 great saves in a row for the Wildcats goalie.
That's the 3rd grade A chance that David Booth has had in this second period. And while he doesn't have anything to show for it on the scoreboard, point blank. This is the second chance, the centering attempt by David Booth as J.M. Lyles moves in. Look at him protect the puck, swing forehand, and Kowalski just tracks him left to right through the crease. And Booth stayed right with the puck and centered it right back into the slot.
You want to know why people have high hopes around here in Marquette for this year's Wildcats? Look no further than number 33 between the pipes.
Bigger the game, the better he plays, Craig Kowalski.
Ash Goldie behind that NMU goal. Played it to Clark right in front, and it's stolen. Here comes Dennett up ahead. Turned it over at center ice for Fast. Brad Fast to the right wing for Ash Goldie. Goldie into the Wildcat zone. Now Kevin Estrada. Estrada with a late man coming fast. There's a shot, a sweeping shot, and Kowalski made the save.
Kowalski is worthy tonight. Craig Kowalski, well, he's kind of owned the Michigan Wolverines. A couple of career shutouts against them, but he's never beaten this Michigan State team with 2:08 to go. That's about to change, you might think.
It will be 1-3 lifetime against him. Now Harrison plays it up ahead. Dirk Southern to the right of Migliaccio. Doing the wave here at the Berry Event Center. Feeling very good about the way their team has performed here tonight in the home opener.
Life is good.
Myler Wildcat. Yeah, absolutely. Harrison scoops up the loose puck. But he lost a stick. That's Jared Nightingale who's trying to play without one. Jackson held it in at the high point. Shot never got through. Duncan Keith blocked it. Keith thrown off the puck by Terry Harrison. Harrison spun away from Geis and then is drilled by Maloney, and a penalty coming up to Brian Maloney.
Well, Brian Maloney is a cantankerous sort to start with, and this is just pure frustration now. Comes in heavy and high, and the high hits are going to be called in the CCHA every time. And Wildcat not trying to rub it in. He's got a 6-goal lead, minute 25 to go. He's got his 4th line out with some power play duty to finish this one up.
A lot of respect between these two men, Walt Kyle and Rick Comley. We noticed that earlier today in talking with both.
Respect goes a lot deeper than what happens in a hockey rink, too.
Wildcats looking for more already with a series record 10 goals in their favor. 10-4 they lead it. Spartans looking for a shorter. Here comes Ferguson. He's got Markuson on the right wing. Laid it in front for him, and it's stolen. Juha Allen, a good-looking freshman. Laid it up ahead under a minute to go. Lyles. Now the crowd knowing that this one is in the bag. On their feet.
Well, I think you got to put Goldert and Swanson out and look for the hat trick, though.
Bob turned it over to Ferguson. Michigan State playing shorthanded the rest of the way. Allen to the far side. Here come the Wildcats. With the win, will improve to 2-1-1. Scoring 3 times as many goals in this game as they did all of last year against this Spartan hockey team. 6 players with multiple point games. An impressive showing by the Wildcats. Gidney in front, deflected wide. 10 seconds to victory.
Well, referee Steve Piotrowski, even though there's under 10 seconds to go, he just wants to make sure he lets Patrick Murphy and J.M. Lyles know that what they're doing behind the play has not gone undetected, and the standard will remain in effect throughout this game and hopefully carry over into tomorrow, although tomorrow is going to be a completely different start, especially if you're wearing the Spartan green.
Well, they will have to regroup while the Wildcats look to keep the momentum in their favor. Gidney with a shot that goes just wide. Dennett played it to the point, and the clock winds down. The first meeting of the year between mentor and student goes to the pupil. Walt Kyle, his second win as Northern Michigan's head coach, his first against his longtime friend, former coach, Rick Comley. We'll be back to wrap it up from Marquette with the 10-4 victors right after this.
Hello again. I'm Rick Pop, president of the NMU Alumni Association, back one more time to thank you for being part of tonight's broadcast. I hope you had a good time tonight. Tonight's broadcast is made possible through the support of the NMU Alumni Association. So I ask that you consider becoming a member of the NMU Alumni Association. Take a look at our website at nmu.edu/alumni. And thanks for cheering on the Cats.
An impressive but maybe bittersweet victory for Walt Kyle, whose club hammers Michigan State 10-4.
Walt's almost apologetic when he comes out to shake Rick Comley's hand, saying, you know, I didn't mean to run up the score, and Rick just shrugged it off and said, you did what you had to do.
Wildcats fired up, and for good reason. They win at 10-4. Our college hockey coverage resumes December 28th and 29th with all 4 games in the Great Lakes Invitational at Joe Louis Arena. For Fred Pledge, Shireen Sasky, and our entire Fox Sports Net crew, my name is Matt Shepard saying so long from the Barry Event Center in Marquette, where our final score reads Northern Michigan 10, Michigan State 4. You've been watching college hockey on Fox Sports Net. Now, stay tuned for You Gotta See This. It comes your way next.